All right, we are recording. It is, let's see, Tuesday, August 11th, and I wanted to run through our everything that's happening this month real quick. So this is some of it. It looks the same from last week, which was still August, but here we go. You know what? I'm gonna mute you guys too really quickly because I hear some background noises, and it'll just make for a better recording. All right. And I think I got everybody. Okay. So welcome. The August promotions, if you didn't know already, Size and Shakeology are 140. The Size Kickstart and Shakeology are 180. Their 3-day refresh and Shakeology are also on sale for 140. And On Demand is still on sale for 140. I've never heard that that's going to go up, so that might be an ongoing challenge pack. I'm not sure about that, but that's that. And then the 21-day fix extreme is no longer on sale, but the 21-day fix I believe is, although there seems to be some chatter about that, but I believe it's still on sale till tomorrow. And they just, my experience is that they pull it down at a random time. And so if you have anybody, tell them to order tonight or as early as they can tomorrow, because I feel like last time it went down at like 3 p.m. or something bizarre. So I don't know about when exactly that will go down. So so that's the 21-day fix, and 21-day fix kickstart with a 3-day refresh as well. And then I think everybody knows by now that Fixate is pretty cool. We've been trying some of the new recipes out this week in our free group, and some of them are pretty good, I think. And then the performance line, if you didn't jump on the National Wake Up Call yesterday, the creator of the performance line actually spoke about it and gives some great information. So tune into that if you haven't already. You can get a club performance pack just like you can a challenge pack. And it's also 140 this month. So that's another way to get Success Club points. Then, of course, there's Shakeology Boosts. And for anybody participating, hopefully everybody on this call is participating in the Cup Challenge, you can get an extra Cup point for Shakeology Boosts and for the performance line. And then there's the product launches. So the Hammer and Chisel is coming out in the winter. There's supposed to be a sneak peek in October, just to remind everybody about those things. The Cup Challenge is underway, and there are prizes at stake. So the tier 3 prizes, the first tier was 30 points, 5 Success Club points individually, and you get the selfie stick. The 50 points, team points, and Success Club 7 gets you the Size hat, and then 75 points and Success Club 10 gets you the Size apparel. So we better at least be getting some selfie sticks in here is what I'm saying, which I know is totally motivating to everybody. And then, of course, the ways you earn points, just to remind you, for the Cup Challenge is you get 1 point for every Success Club point you earn, 1 point for your own rank advancements, and 1 point for your personally sponsored coach rank advancements. And then this new thing this time is that 1 point for a boost or performance product sale if you sell both a challenge pack and a booster performance product to the same customer in August only. And again, to hopefully not confuse you, those do not count as your Success Club points for the month. Those only count as your Cup points for the month. And then Summit, we have some people in here that are trying to qualify for Success Starters, so that would be amazing. And again, that is Success Starters is if you were a brand new coach in July, or you are a brand new coach in August, and you get Success Club the first month you join, or the following month. So the first full month still counts as your first month, and then the second and third months as well. If you get Success Club 5 or higher for 3 months in a row, then you get your free ticket to Summit, which is pretty awesome because it is already sold out, which is crazy. So that's coming in 2016, July 28th to the 31st. And then here are, just so your reminder for the National Wake Up Call. So this week was, I believe you say Nima Alamdari. I believe that's how you say his name. But anyway, so he's the creator, and he's got a really sweet British accent. So tune in even if you just want to hear him talk, because he's got a nice accent. But he talks all about the performance line, who it's for, what it's for, all that kind of good stuff. It's a great way just to learn about it. Whether or not you have a particular interest in it, it's just good education for yourself about this product. And then, of course, Inspiration Nation calls. We started this month. We started this month with weekly calls. So tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Next week, we're going to have Mia talk a little bit about marketing strategies, and Terry's going to talk as well. If you are part of small group calls, make sure to tune into those. And then if you weren't aware, there are Dream Team calls with Melanie Mitro and her team of coaches on Monday nights. And if you want to tune into those can be really helpful also. And then the next one is I've been talking with some of the leaders, giving it a lot of thought about what to do with the retreat, because I'm really, really excited about this. And I really want to get as many people there as possible. So if you haven't heard of this yet, what the plan is to have a retreat for our team October 23rd through the 25th. So it's a weekend in October, Friday to Sunday, in Deep Creek, Maryland. And it's, if you're from the Pittsburgh area, which some of us are, it's about 2.5 hours from here. If that's not where you're from, you can certainly check out the distance for you. But what we're going to do is I'm going to rent a house in Deep Creek, and we're going to do some team building stuff, some training stuff. And it's really pretty awesome. I participated myself in 2 retreats, and I walked away from those really feeling much more connected to the team. And you can't put a value on how great it is to actually be in person and with your fellow coaches and learning from each other, connecting with each other. So it's really, if you can be there, I would really recommend making the effort to be there. I know it's not easy, and I know that you have to leave families and figure out arrangements and travel expenses and all that kind of stuff. But if you can get there, really try and do that. So here's what we've come up with for qualifying, because we've talked about this a couple different times in a couple different ways. But here's the final answer. To qualify to attend the retreat for free, I asked that you hit Success Club 5 in June, July, and August, and by September that you have 4 personally sponsored coaches in September. But I know that a lot of people have worked very hard and maybe didn't quite meet that goal. And so what I'm thinking is to make it kind of fair to everybody, if you didn't hit Success Club in one of the months or 2 of the months in June, July, or August, that it'll be $20. You can PayPal me that for each month that you didn't meet Success Club. But this doesn't apply to new coaches, because I don't want to penalize anybody. So if you are a brand new coach in June, July, or August, we won't count your first month, but ask that you aim to hit Success Club by your second month, Success Club 5. So hopefully everybody is cool with that. I really need to get a final count on how many people are planning to attend, because I want to book the house soon, and I want to see how big of a house we need to get, because I think it could be really cool. But I'm hoping that we aim to get about 20 coaches there. I think that would be pretty awesome. So that's the plan for the retreat. I'm really, really excited about it, and I want to get some good training, but also get some good team building going on. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie, who we talked on the last call when this came about because Katie Ersta was on our last call speaking to us, and she was pretty powerful message, and big takeaways was that we really need to get clear on our stories and why we're coaches and why this is meaningful to us. And also when we're sharing it with other people, I think that we can really encourage people to join us more if we know what we're doing and why we're doing it. So what we thought at the end of the last call was that it could be really cool to practice sharing your story with a friendly audience, just so that you can know what you want to say when you're talking with other people about this coaching business and about the opportunity and your why. So Jeannie very kindly volunteered to go first and share a bit about her story with us. So if you're ready, I'm going to unmute you. No pressure, but you're first, so you better hit it out of the park.
Oh boy.
Just kidding.
All right. Bear with me though, because this isn't a story that I've really told a lot of people. I've been doing bits and pieces on Facebook, but it's kind of a story I tried tucking away and didn't want anybody to really know. So basically, like every little girl, you dream of growing up and getting married and having a family, and that's just what you expect is going to happen in your life. So that's what I always thought would happen. So in my 20s, I was dating someone. I wasn't married, but I found out I was pregnant. I was very excited. He was not. So he said, I'm out, not going to do this. And in turn, I think to kind of protect his own image, was telling mutual friends that I was making this all up, whatever. But I decided I was going to do this on my own. I was excited. I was scared. I was alone. Started having some complications. So I went in to see the doctor and alone found out I had miscarried. I was devastated, to say the least, and alone. My family didn't know I was pregnant. I didn't know how to cope with what I had just been told. I turned to alcohol. My life quickly spiraled out of control. I got 4 drunk drivings, was in jail 3 times, and out of rehab, in and out of rehab. While I was in rehab, I met a guy, and we dated for 5 years. He was a crack addict, verbally and emotionally abusive. But I thought that's what I deserved, and I wasn't going to find any better. Who's going to want to be with somebody that's got 4 drunk drivings, in and out of jail, in and out of rehab? I just figured that was where my life was going. Somehow, I turned it around and I left him, got a place of my own, got my beautiful puppy Azul, who filled the hole from the miscarriage. Went back to school, got a degree in anthropology and death investigation. I was excited about the new life I was starting. Couldn't find work. So instead of focusing on what I had accomplished, I was looking at what I didn't have. I was seeing my brothers and friends all buying homes, starting families, having careers. I didn't have any of that. Growing up, I've always struggled with my self-image. Looking like Orphan Annie was not easy growing up. Kids are mean, got picked on. So my self-image was still not good. I still didn't feel like I deserved better than where I was at. And then Terry invited me to join a challenge group. And I had every intention of saying no, but for some reason I said, I'll do it. Figured 21 days, and then life will go back to the way it was. I couldn't believe how amazing I felt. I honestly never thought I'd ever be happy or happy again. I never thought I'd be confident in the person that I am. But thanks to that challenge group and coaching, I'm now becoming a much more confident person. And I'm learning to tell this story because it doesn't define who I am. It's gotten me to where I am today. But it's still a little embarrassing of a story to tell. Nobody wants to say they were in jail and drunk driving. And at the time, I just didn't care about what happened to me. I wasn't thinking that I could hurt somebody else. And thank God I never did. But it's really through the challenge groups and coaching that I'm where I am now, and I feel amazing, and I want to share that with everybody, and I want people to know that stuff, things happen. Life isn't always wonderful and great, and you might not be where you think you were going to be, but your path is not necessarily the path that God has planned for you. And this has just been an amazing experience, and I look forward to continuing and growing in that self-confidence a little bit more. So that's kind of it.
Wow, thanks, Jeannie. My goodness, you shared a lot. It's so great because I think you could really touch so many people by sharing that. And you're getting somewhere when it's the one that makes you like nervous to talk about and share with other people. That's the one that's really going to touch people. So thank you for.
And I will say, like, Azul was my baby, and when I lost her, I felt that devastation all over again. But thanks to what I'm doing now, I didn't turn to alcohol. I have a much better way of coping with those feelings. I didn't have to run from them. I was able to actually deal with them and move through them. So.
Oh, it's so powerful. Yeah, thank you for not only going first, but for being so open and honest with us and so vulnerable, because I think truly that's how you're going to inspire other people, by sharing that with them. Okay, everybody take a deep breath.
On a lighter note.
Yeah, right. I don't see Jen, so I don't think she was able to get on the call. But if any of you want to volunteer for next Tuesday, that would be great. I'll put something in on the team page, so you can let me know if you want to share your story next time. Actually, I'm going to put Terry in charge of the call next week, so you can let Terry know if you want to share your story. But it's just a time to share, like Jeannie did with us, so that not only we can get to know each other better, but we can kind of practice what we want to say to people and know which parts of the story we want to share and at which times and stuff. So thanks. Okay, I'm going to invite my husband, Bill, to get on. And so tonight's the husband's call, and Bill and Dan are going to share a bit about their stories of how they've kind of dealt with us coaching and what their thoughts were kind of in the beginning, that maybe will help some newer coaches or even more veteran coaches whose husbands are kind of there, and everybody's got their own opinions about this coaching business, but maybe just hearing from the guys sometimes I think can be really helpful. So he's actually just sitting right here. So come on over.
Hey, everybody. Am I doing this right? Just 1 second. Yeah. I guess first off, I know you're probably wondering, like, why did I get so dressed up for this? But I had a softball game, surprisingly enough. And thank you, Jeannie, for being so touching and powerful, because pretty much anything that I say is going to fall flat. So I'll do my best. But Kathleen asked me and Dan, and I'm sort of the junior varsity game, getting ready for the varsity team with Dan to come on. Because I think something that comes up all the time is sort of, I want to do this, I want to follow through with this, but my boyfriend or my husband isn't on board. They're really skeptical. A lot of times you hear this, it's a money pyramid, it's a scheme, it's a fraud, all of these things. And that's something that, I carpool with a police officer every day. And even leading up to today, I think I kind of practiced my spiel on him because he's always skeptical. It's a scheme. He has a girlfriend that's interested. It's there's a ruse somewhere, and I practiced it on him, and I gave my entire spiel, and at the end of it said, but it's still a money pyramid, isn't it? So apparently I didn't win him over. But let me talk a little bit about, I guess the first thing I wanted to discuss is sort of the legal component. By training, I'm a lawyer. I spent a lot of time reviewing contracts and things like that. So when Kathleen started with this, the first thing I wanted to do was take a look at the contract and essentially just make sure there wasn't anything that locked her in. Anything that would say, once you sign on this dotted line, you have to spend $200 a month, $50 a month for 5 years, for 6 months, something that would get her in a position that she couldn't back out of. So I poured over the contract, and it's, I think if anybody's seen it, it's pretty extensive, line by line. And to be very honest with you, my Gold's Gym membership was more prohibitive than this. I mean, if anybody has a cell phone plan, you have to pay like, what, $175 to get out of it or something like that. There is nothing like that. You can sign up as a coach and say it's not for me after like 20 days. I think they even have some crazy plan where you can eat or have an entire bag of Shakeology, ship it back, which we've actually seen people do, and they take it. They have bought into it that much. So as far as a gimmick and a scam, there's nothing that locks you in. That was probably the biggest thing for me, to make sure that, we weren't getting into something that we couldn't get out of, or if we got out of, would be in some type of financial ruin. It's the furthest thing from that. And I can say that as, I'm not a very good one, but as a lawyer, I can, say there's just nothing that locks you in. You can get out at any point. That was the biggest thing. And everything else was kind of a form, what we call the boilerplate, that there's really nothing unique about this other than a typical business. The second part that I wanted to talk about was sort of defending the claim that this is a pyramid scheme. I have a long definition of what a pyramid scheme is, and about 7 pages in, I would put you all to sleep. But I can tell you, when I was in college, I had some kid on my dorm on the first floor that had this great idea. All I had to do was give him $100, and if I found like 5 or 6 people, and then they found 5 or 6 more people, and then on and on and on, all of a sudden I would start making cash money for $1,000, $1,500, and I think he even showed me a couple $100 bills. Let me tell it to you like this: a money pyramid, first off, is illegal. It was illegal in the state of Kansas where I went to college. It's illegal in Pennsylvania. Every state has laws against it, ranging from felonies to misdemeanors. So the irony of people saying that Beachbody is a pyramid scheme is that there are like 300 and some thousand coaches, all apparently committing misdemeanors and felonies in every single state, that nobody's prosecuting. So congratulations, guys. You're doing a great job with that. That's really the jumping off point is that it is a crime in every state, but really at its core, a pyramid scheme is the promise of more money. There's no actual product. It's just pay me and then recruit, and maybe you will ultimately get some type of money. It's basically an empty box. Beachbody, you get a product, you get Shakeology, you get a workout plan, you get everything that's involved with the online help and the resources and things like that. You're getting a tangible product. So if you walk away from day 2, you could return it or you could keep it. You'll have it in your possession. You have something with you. So it's very core. There's no way that you can really equate a money pyramid with what Beachbody is, because you actually have something that you hold in your hand, not just the promise that you're going to get something. And the other thing, just the pure structure of a money pyramid, is the people below you can never get above you. They can only make money for you. I think if anybody knows the story of Melanie Mitro, she actually out-earns people that started way above her and actually her coach. She makes far more money. So the scheme, I guess, doesn't apply at all in the sense of Beachbody. And ultimately, in a pyramid, a Ponzi scheme is what they call it, you would, if you weren't able to recruit people or people didn't make payments, you'd be left holding the bag. There's no equivalent of that with Beachbody. But the bigger thing I wanted to talk with you about, and maybe I'm beating this to death, but it's just something that continually comes up because you hear network marketing. It has a connotation of it's a shady business, it's a seedy business. People really want to delegitimize network marketing, so you can say this thing about all the facts that how this isn't a pyramid scheme, but ultimately it is. Isn't it a pyramid scheme is what you're going to hear. So I have a video, but you didn't have this, Dan. Not really seamless right now, but we're working on it.
Hold on. All right, here we go.
And if we could play this.
I have definitely decided that my job really sucks. The economy sucks, and the only way it's going to get better is if I do something about it.
What do you have in mind?
I've decided I'm going to build a network marketing business.
What's network marketing?
A network marketing company allows you to build your own business, creating a group of associates and customers that consume the products offered by the company.
Oh, that sounds like one of those pyramid things.
What do you mean pyramid things?
It's one of those things where the only people that make any money are the people at the top of it.
You mean like the company we work for?
Don't you have to get in early to make any money?
Actually, with a good network marketing company, you can make more money than the people above you, if you are more productive.
Are you sure it's not a pyramid scheme?
Absolutely.
Well, what makes you so sure?
Listen, A pyramid scheme is where you make all of your money by recruiting others, and there is no product or service being exchanged.
Well, it still sounds like a pyramid scheme to me.
With a legitimate network marketing company, you make most or all of your money from people using the products or services.
It still sounds like a pyramid scheme.
In what way?
Because when you draw it out, it definitely looks like a pyramid.
How on earth is that relevant?
I don't know. It just seems like a pyramid scheme.
If you were to draw out the structure of the company you work for, what shape would it be?
A pyramid.
If you drew out the structure of your church, what shape would it be?
Well, a pyramid.
If you drew out the organization of, let's say, the Red Cross, what shape would that be?
It would be a pyramid too.
Are you starting to get the big picture now?
Yes, I had no idea there were so many pyramid schemes around. Do you really think you'll make any money with your pyramid scheme?
According to the U.S. Department of Labor and the Direct Selling Association, putting forth the same time and effort, I'm 5 times more likely to earn a 6-figure income in network marketing than at my life-sucking job.
I hear you. I hate my job too. That's why I play the lotto every night after work. I've got a system in place.
Maybe you should think about starting your own business too, instead of leaving your future to dumb luck.
But I've heard so many bad things about network marketing from people.
People like who?
Like my brother-in-law.
Well, is he wealthy?
No. He works at Bubba's Burger Bar.
Does he own it?
No.
Would you consider him a credible expert on the subject?
No.
Would you consider him a credible expert on any other subjects?
Not really. Other than he makes a mean burger. So why do some people say network marketing doesn't work?
For the same reason that some people think that the Social Security program is doing okay. Just blind ignorance.
Are there any credible experts that support network marketing?
Ever hear of Robert Kiyosaki, the author of one of the top-selling financial books to date?
Can't say that I have.
He's a huge supporter of network marketing. In fact, he calls it the perfect business. What about Donald Trump?
Yes, he's the one with the weasel hair.
He's also another big supporter of network marketing. Have you heard of Warren Buffett? He's the most successful investor of all time.
Can't say that I have.
He's also a big supporter of network marketing.
And you think these people are more credible than my brother-in-law, who I might add gets plenty of overtime?
Most definitely.
Even still, I think it sounds like a pyramid scheme.
And I can still tell.
You've got to be kidding me. Have you even heard anything I've been saying?
There you go. There you go.
All right, I think you guys get the picture in that. But anyway, I came across that at some point, and I thought it sort of shed some light on both pyramid schemes and as well as network marketing. The last thing I'm going to say before I let the main act come on stage, Aerosmith's warming up right now, is I just wanted to talk about sort of my own experience as far as I have been a part of a challenge group. I've gone through that. I've gone, I think it was T25 that we did together, and also P90X3. I know you probably can tell. But sort of my experience was I used to run all the time. I go to the gym. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I'd sort of bounce from machine to machine. You know, I'd see somebody that looked like they knew what they were doing with pull downs or something, wait 10 minutes until they go off of the machine, and then jump over and do the exact same thing that they were doing as long as they weren't looking. I had no plan, no idea of really what I was doing in the gym. But then I started with, you know, both the challenge group, and it was mainly the T25 that was terrible. I was dripping sweat. It's not easy by any stretch, but it's targeted. They know what they're doing. They work all parts of your body. And then you supplement that with Shakeology, and I actually looked better, I think at 37 than I'd ever looked in my life, which I'll hold off on that. But it's very core. Beachbody and the products and Shakeology work, and they work for the right reasons. There are a ton of things that you can buy. I know that there's a product on the market that's sort of like saran wrap around your belly. There's I had a friend that had I'm pointing to my ear because that's actually a visual, that had some nerve ending in her ear pierced because that was supposed to suppress her appetite, and it only cost like $70 to have it done. I can't believe that didn't work. And there are a number of things that you can have as far as invasive surgery and stuff like that, but this isn't a fad diet. We have a neighbor that I know Kathleen spoke with about buying some of this because she'd always complained about the weight she couldn't get off, and Kathleen sort of talked to her about the products and things that might be good for her. And she said, well, I just don't do fad diets. So it's sort of like you can talk until you're blue in the face, but people just really want to believe this is some type of fad diet. It's the antithesis of that. It's the exact opposite. I mean, it teaches you to eat better, have at least one meal a day that has everything that you need, as well as a very targeted, efficient workout program. So it's the opposite of a fad diet. It really tries to change and rewire the way that you've been raised and how you've eaten, things like that. So when you peel back all the layers, it really works, and it works for the right reasons. So with that, I will hand the microphone over to the main event. If I had Michael Buffer, I would have him do the announcement here. But Dan, if you want to take it away.
Sure, yeah. A comment and a question. The comment, I just thought that you were great in that acting role that we saw in the video, Bill. I mean, you really... it was excellent. I thought you were fantastic. Secondly, about this time last year, you were also playing in a softball game, and I think that you hobbled off with a pulled hamstring. Did you pull your hamstring tonight or not?
You can't see below the neck, so I'm perfect.
Got it. Okay. All right. Because that would really be kind of the anti-commercial for the exercise programs if you pulled a hamstring. So I'm going to trust that you're doing okay. Jeannie, that was absolutely fantastic. What a story, truly a story. And I know that there are so many people who are out there, probably many people who you have yet to come in contact with, whose lives are going to be changed by your story and your courage and your willingness to share that. So I know I'm just kind of an intruder here on this call, but I really appreciated your openness and honesty with the story. So I know it wasn't an easy thing to do, but that was really great. And I'm sure some of the other faces in the squares are thinking the same thing as I am. So well done. I guess my message, my talk for this portion of the call is getting support from your support network. Support network, whether that's husband, wife, whether that's mom or dad, whether that's your closest circle of friends. I think that we do need support from those networks in anything that we do. When I'm not giving Bill legal advice for his job, my day job is a teacher and coach. So I see a lot of parallels in some of the things that we do. And I know as a coach, I know my team members, whenever everyone's on board, and what I mean by that is if there's a couple guys who are competing for a position, I know that if one is supporting the other, the guy who is playing is going to do exponentially a better job than if that guy is antagonistic toward him, if he's pulling against him. So with that in mind, I think it's absolutely critical that you have support from your support circle, no matter who that may be, whether that's, again, your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or friends, parents, your closest friends. And I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about some reasons why they should be supportive of you and maybe some considerations as to why they shouldn't be so skeptical like Bill's carpool partner, but be completely on board with what it is that they're doing. I'll admit I was on board from the start. I have heard stories of people who haven't been in support of this or they're skeptical of the efforts, but I was on board from the start. And I would say I was on board from the start for two reasons. One, like Bill, I was in a challenge group. Kathleen asked Terry to be in a challenge group, and I just kind of, I was in with it. I said, I'm going to find out what this is about. So it was T25, our first challenge group, and I was in it, and I didn't comment on Facebook or anything, but I was always like looking over her shoulder, reading the comments, and virtually liking in my head and things like that. But my experience was great from the start, with exercise, with how we ate, with how we changed some of our habits. And it was pretty transformative, just from a fitness standpoint, from a health standpoint, and how I was feeling. And it was cool to spend at least 25 minutes with Terry every day, exercising. I know the pace of life is really, really crazy, but it was kind of one segment where we could say, all right, kids, just let us alone for a little while we exercise. And that was neat. So I was a fan from the start because I experienced it. Secondly, I knew Kathleen had something to do with it. All right. So while Bill probably combed over legal documents to make sure that this was legitimate, my stamp of legitimacy was Kathleen. I knew that if Kathleen was involved with it, it was gold. I grew up with Kathleen, went to school with Kathleen, and in her life, she has done 3 things wrong. 3. It might not be any. I'm rounding up. She might be perfect still. I know she was in high school, but I'm guessing there have been mistakes along the way. Maybe a parking ticket or something like that. She was our class valedictorian. She was the person who had all the answers to all the questions. She knew it. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely hardworking. And I knew that if this was an endeavor that she was getting in, sign me up, sign us up, because Kathleen has made some incredible decisions in her life, and she was kind of a guiding force. So I knew that if she was involved with it, that this was kind of a legitimate endeavor, and I didn't have to comb through pages of legal documents or anything like that, as Bill had already done, perhaps. So several, I guess, sub-points to what I'm going to say, and again, all involving why you should be getting support from your support network. The first thing I would suggest that those people do, whether they're your friends, whether they're your parents, whoever it might be, is have them try it. Like Bill, like me, hey, give it a whirl. Okay, be in one of these challenge groups so that you can experience firsthand what we're talking about. Okay, when we're talking about a challenge group, whenever we're talking about, a post of the day or whatever the case might be, actually experience it, and we're going to be speaking a common language for the remainder of this career, which could go on a long, long time. So come on in. Let me give it a try. All right. So that's what I would encourage those around you to do. I guess the second reason, the bottom line in terms of what this is, and I know that probably whenever you say what you're doing, you probably have to, I guess dissect it a little bit. But the bottom line is I've experienced in the 2 years that Terry has been with Beachbody, is you're helping others. Okay, that's it. You're helping others. You're helping them to better who they are, better their lives, making them healthy. And I think in whatever profession we pursue, whether that's teaching, whether that's law enforcement, whether it's in the legal sense, I think anytime that we have the chance to better the lives of others, I think it's an enriching contribution to the world around us. And that is, away from the challenge groups, away from the SC points or the challenge packs or whatever the case might be, you're helping others and trying to enrich their lives through fitness and nutrition. And I think that that's a really, really noble goal. So anyone who wants to be skeptical of this, I guess I would turn it around and say, are you also skeptical of other careers whose main intent is to better their lives and enrich the experience of others? I've seen change in Terry, just in terms of, she used to be an awful person. And now through Beachbody, I'm joking. But just in terms of, who it is that she's talking to, what it is that she's reading, what it is that she's learning, she would agree with this, her life has kind of branched out in directions that she would never have considered before, in terms of what's the next thing that she wants to learn, or who is it that she's reading. Authors are crossing her, reading list who weren't even on the radar 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and so on. And watching her grow as a person and as a professional, and it's just great. She was a great person to begin with, but it's neat to see this transition stage. So, it is a career that stimulates stimulates continual growth. It's not a career where, okay, you have the degree or you have the job. Now let's coast for 35 years until we can retire. And we're probably going to be much the same person at the end of the career as we were at the start of our career. But this is a job where you're probably changing from week to week and month to month and absolutely from year to year. So any job, any career where you can see that professional growth, I think is pretty awesome. Along with that, I guess the last 2 points in terms of helping others and in terms of growing as people, my mom has been in several challenge groups, and I believe if I'm doing the math right, my mom is 65, soon to be 66, and she is continually growing in terms of what she does in terms of fitness, in terms of nutrition. And I think it's pretty cool that she has the mindset that I'm going to be better tomorrow than I am today, and I'm going to be better next week than I am this week. And I think that this particular career has that at its root, that you're going to continue to be better people, continue to be smarter people, and have more skills perhaps than you were before, or that you had before. So try it. Point number 1, the career is at its root helping others. And I guess the third point that I attempted to make is bettering your own self as a professional. The next point is this career, and particularly this team, gets to be plugged in with a lot of great and incredible people. I had mentioned Kathleen, and I don't know everyone on the team. I know them kind of through, Terry told me this, or I see their name when I sit down at the computer and, a message might pop up or anything like that. So I'm familiar with the names, and just through our network of people, I get to see people who I went to high school with. I see Nadine and I see Julie and JT, who is, I'm sure, checking the updates on the Pirates-Cardinals game, right? I hope so. And I see Becky, and that's Joey, the hockey player, right? Awesome. Joey, you're the man. I see you on skates a lot. And there are so many other people who I know that Terry has come across with, and it's just a great team. It's just an absolutely great team of people. And I don't pick Terry's friends by any means. I don't think that we do that. But if I could pick a group of people for her to hang out with and to work with and to be colleagues with and to get to, experience life with, man, what a great group. Kids are off to school pretty soon. And for a while, they're assigned lunch tables. And my oldest son is going to middle school where they're in the world of non-assigned lunch tables, and I just hope that they're at a good lunch table, right? Because that matters a lot. Are you going to, get to swap cookies with someone's mom who makes really, really good cookies? And what are you going to talk about, and who you're going to hang out with, and what are the activities and all those sorts of things. So back to relevance here. This is a really awesome lunch table, right? And I'm glad that, Terry has gotten to experience what it is to be hanging out with these people. So, in terms of getting support from your support circle, I mean, to be plugged into the kind of people that this job, and in particular this team, I don't really get how the whole structure works. I know that not all teams are created equally, just like not all lunch tables are created the same. You don't want your kids going to some of those lunch tables, but this is a really good lunch table to, they even eat clean and all that stuff. The next point is financial. And I always kind of, tread lightly with finances and things because I never want it to be about the money. It never has been about the money for Terry. But there is the opportunity to do quite well in this business. And it's not a get rich quick scheme. I don't think anyone, anyone on the team is really in it for that they're going to strike gold and they're going to be able to retire at the end of the year and go on elaborate vacations thereafter. But the money does come, and it's kind of neat. It's really a true extension of who she is and doing the things that she naturally loves. And, she gets a paycheck. And I would say with all of our careers, whenever we find that marriage of, I'm doing what I'm passionate about, I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm making some money with it, that's a really, really great thing. And, the finances do come. It's always been Terry's, I guess, vision that when our kids were little, she was a former elementary school teacher. When our kids were little, she was going to stay at home. And when the kids were, big enough to get on the bus to take them to school, then she was going to go back to the classroom. And that's always kind of been her vision. We thought that that's how the book would be written. And she's loved this job so much, and financially, she's at a point where it makes sense to do that. So there's, at least for now, and I don't think ever, I don't know, she doesn't really plan on going back to the classroom because, financially it's feasible. And again, she's doing something that she's good at and she really, really loves. So there's that angle of it. Anyone who is, why are you doing this, and why are you putting in time, and why are you making these posts, and well, it can pay off. It's not just, out of the goodness of heart, though that's a main component of the job, but it certainly can pay off with persistence and trusting in the process and, staying with it. And relatedly, I would say the flexibility. I don't know what people on the call do, whether it's they're exclusively online coaches, or, I'm guessing it's, I have a career and I'm kind of squeezing this in. And that's the way it was. Terry's, I guess, now approaching her second year of coaching. And up until 2 months ago, she ran a daycare out of our home with a lot of little kids running around. And she would do this on the side, and she would squeeze it in the cracks of the day when there were cracks of the day, whether that was during nap time, whether that was right after dinner, whether that was late and extending your day, and so on. And what we found is it's a really, really flexible schedule. I can't think of too many jobs where you can go at the speed you want to go. I just want to dabble, I'm not in this to be full-time. I just want to do this on the side. I want to keep my family healthy. I want to earn enough to pay for my Shakeology, and I really don't want to go further. And that's perfectly fine. But if you think about some other careers, I can't really, as we go back to school, say, I'm just going to teach Monday mornings, right? That's it. I'm going to teach Monday mornings. I like the job, but I don't want to get too serious about it. Or, I don't think baseball players can say, like, I just want to play home games when it's sunny and less than 70 degrees. But this is really a job where you can kind of pick your hours, however odd they might be. And, I'm completely on board with it, and I'm completely supportive of it. And sometimes the hours are late. And I would say in any profession that you want to be very good at, the hours are going to be late. I put in some crazy hours for teaching. So, I think every profession is probably the same. I'm sure professional athletes probably do some insane hours of training. So regardless of what the profession may be, there is some time that goes into it. But I think what is unique is the flexibility. I'm going to go really hard in these seasons of the year, or I'm going to go full time with this, or I'm going to go late at night or early in the morning, whatever the case. So it has some flexibility, I think, that others do not. And again, I'm kind of speaking in wrapping up what I have to say generally about those who want to find critiques, or they want to be skeptical about this process. I'm pretty sure in whatever profession you looked at, you could probably find some of those same drawbacks. One of the things that I hear is, whether it's, some late hours, or, she's checking her phone because she gets a notification, or whatever the case might be. And maybe it is inconvenient at times, but it's really, really convenient whenever she's able to be freed up to do some other things, like take the kids to the park in the middle of the day, or to volunteer at their schools, or whatever the case might be. Not everyone's great at the job. And I know that maybe one of the stigmas is, I know some of those online coaches and they're annoying. Well, I'm guessing that I don't know, Bill, but I'm guessing there are some pretty bad lawyers out there. I don't know, maybe one or two. And I've seen a few bad teachers. Okay, so no lawyers. All lawyers are good, especially Bill. But I do know some people who aren't very good teachers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the entire profession is, down the drainer and, in shambles or anything like that. So if you're looking for negatives, you'll find negatives. If you're looking for the positives, I think that you're going to find so many positives that would cause people to support your endeavors with online coaching, with fitness coaching. And I think it really helps a lot when your support circle is in support of you. So that's all. I think, Kathleen, you come back on and let JT go watch the Pirates and Cardinals, because I won't be doing that either. Yeah.
Nice job, guys. Dan, would you say that we are back at the bus cool, or how would you rate that bus?
You're the coolest table, right? You're the coolest table, right? Definitely. Back in the bus, cool. I mean, coolest table. Yeah, right.
No, thank you both for getting on and sharing your perspectives. I kind of wanted to open it up for a minute and see if anybody else, I'm going to unmute everybody, see what kind of questions you guys had for either of them. Go ahead. Does anybody want to start? Have a question or a comment? Here we go.
Everybody's smiling.
No. They're quiet when it comes to questions. Except for Shannon. I'm just going to shout out Shannon. He's not here. She usually has a question for me. She probably
I'll ask something.
Okay, go.
Okay, so Dan and Bill, you guys have been in this the longest, and I know one of the things that I struggle with is I don't have good business hours. I mean, I am constantly, and I know it is frustrating, and Dan, you touched on it. If I get a notification on my phone, or if someone is like all of a sudden wanting to sign up as a coach or a challenge pack, like it can be really, really annoying. But then, like, you know, Mitch, I have him signed up as a discount coach, and when he gets that $40 or $50, you know, like he gets $50 in Beachbody, it's less annoying. But I guess the hard part is like how you guys deal with that, understanding that.
Until this game,
you know, so that's one of the, I think, the struggles he has. I'm speaking for him, but
you are, aren't you?
Bill, you or me?
He's watching a camera.
I mean, I can, I don't know about takeover, but it just sort of, I lived a life where Kathleen worked downtown. She worked in the strip district. If a kid got sick, it was a complete nightmare. We didn't know how to handle it. Somebody would have to take off work. There was no way around it. So like there's minor inconveniences along the way, pale in comparison to, you know, what life was like when she was doing a 9-to-5 job and commuting and having before school daycare, after school daycare for the kids. So you know, the inconveniences just aren't that significant in relation to the way things were.
Yeah, I would say kind of in the same way. I have to reciprocate the patience that she's shown with me. I teach and coach, and the hours are weird and intrusive and inconvenient. And she's always been a huge supporter of understanding that. So if I didn't understand and put up with some of the notifications, or, you know, I'm going to stay up an hour later tonight, or I have to respond to this quick, I guess I'm just kind of reciprocating the understanding that she has shown me. So I understand that it's part of the gig. And it's never really, you know, come between us or anything like that. So, yeah, just kind of reciprocating the understanding that she's shown me.
thanks.
All right, who else? We have time for maybe one more. Anybody else have a question or a comment?
You can. I know you're very capable of it.
Sorry, say that again.
He was talking.
Oh, okay.
I will say something.
Oh no.
Is everybody worried that I'm talking?
No, I am. Go ahead.
Gender equity, Mia, come on.
Well, first of all, I mean, whatever schedule works for it never bugs me. I mean, I know that, first of all, it's helping pay for my school, which is good. I'm in my last year at seminary, but this has really done a lot for me. That's one of the things I'll just say. It's done a lot for me. You know, I'm 60 right now, and I'm probably in as good a shape as I've been in years. I've been doing the Rev Abs, and I'm probably on the 76th day now, except it's been hard to do it while I'm here in New York. But I have been riding the bike on the rail trails, which is awesome if you ever come to New York. But I love doing the exercise. I love doing the programs. I love doing the Shakeology. In fact, you know, especially when you run it around like I am, whether it's here in New York or just the school schedule I have, having that as a meal just makes things so much easier in the day. And the fact that, like she said, $40 extra doesn't hurt once in a while. But the most important thing is that this is something that she's got a passion for. And I've always believed if you've got a passion at something and you're gifted at it, you better do it, or you're doing a misservice to yourself, So, and that's the way I look at it. When you have the kind of passion she has and a gift at doing it, and she obviously, Mia and the rest of you here, are so good at it, and part of it comes from passion. The other part is you guys have a gift to doing this kind of stuff. This is something that you're gifted at doing. And so I know Mia is going to be as successful as any of you are, because she just loves what she's doing with this, as well as her music.
What were you worried about?
Love you, Mimi.
I know. I love you too.
No, I'm glad you shared that, because she is really awesome, Mitch, and she's doing fantastic. And I know I could speak for the coaches on here that we know we work out sometimes and interferes with things, but I think I hope in the end it's worth it for the
it's worth it. You got my vote.
We have that on record, Mia.
There you go.
All right, we have to wrap up for tonight. So a special thank you to Jeannie for sharing your story with us tonight and being brave, not only for going first, but for being, sharing it in a way that really touched all of us, and will touch everybody. And then thanks to Bill and Dan for both sharing their perspectives. I think it's so helpful to not only the husbands, but to the wives as well, the coaches as well, to kind of hear what the guy's perspective is. So next week, tune in again at 9 on Tuesday. And if you have any further questions, I'm sure these guys are more than happy to answer them. But have a good night. Thanks for getting on, guys.
Thanks.